Welcome to Daily Stoic Practice, your compass to navigate the complexities of modern life with ancient wisdom. Hey there, ever feel like you're constantly running in 1,000 directions? Like you're juggling so many things and stress just keeps piling up? You're definitely not alone. We all feel it, but what if there was a way to actually feel calmer, more in control, even when everything around you seems chaotic? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. We're diving into 7 powerful Stoic techniques that can help you relieve stress instantly and stay calm, no matter what life throws your way. We live in a world that never slows down, right? There's always one more email to answer, another deadline looming, and the constant buzz of social media and news. It feels like we're expected to do everything perfectly, all the time. It's exhausting, and before you know it, stress becomes your constant companion. But here's the thing, stress isn't the problem. It's how we react to it that really matters. Today, I'll share how the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can help shift how you deal with stress. It gives you the tools to regain your calm, no matter what's going on around you. So let's dive in and get started. First, finding peace in the present moment. Have you ever caught yourself lost in thought, replaying something that happened yesterday, or worrying about what might go wrong tomorrow? If so, you're not alone. A lot of stress comes from what I like to call mental time travel. We're constantly moving between the past and the future in our minds, either dwelling on mistakes we've made or stressing about things that might never happen. The truth is, most of this mental wandering only creates more anxiety and takes us away from what really matters, the present moment. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, had a powerful piece of advice. Confine yourself to the present. You have power over your mind, not outside events. In other words, the only thing you can control is what's happening right now. And if you can focus on the present, the worries about the past or future won't have the same grip on you. Think about it this way. Imagine your mind is like a camera lens. When you focus on the past or get lost in imagining the future, the lens zooms out and everything starts to feel blurry, chaotic, and overwhelming. But when you bring your attention back to the present moment, it's like you're zooming in, sharpening the focus. Everything becomes clearer, and with that clarity comes a sense of calm. So, how do we train ourselves to live in the now? It's easier said than done, right? But there are some simple practical techniques that can help you reconnect with the present moment and reduce stress. One powerful method is the 5-4-3-2-1 exercise. It's a grounding technique that pulls you out of your head and into your surroundings. Here's how it works. Take a deep breath and look around you. Identify 5 things you can see. It could be the trees outside, a cup on your desk, or the way light hits the wall. Then, find 4 things you can touch. Maybe it's the fabric of your clothes, the surface of your desk, or the warmth of your hands. Next, notice 3 things you can hear. The hum of the fridge, distant voices, or maybe even your own breathing. Then, focus on 2 things you can smell. Maybe you're drinking coffee, or there's a fresh breeze outside. Finally, find 1 thing you can taste. It might be a lingering flavor in your mouth, or even just the taste of the air. This exercise helps to bring your focus back to the present, and by using all your senses, you'll start to notice things you may have missed. It's an easy way to ground yourself when you feel your mind drifting into stress. Instead of worrying about the future or ruminating on the past, you're here. You're experiencing life as it is, not as it might be or as it was. Another great way to practice staying present is through mindfulness. You don't need a long, drawn-out meditation session to experience mindfulness. Even taking 5 minutes a day to sit quietly and focus on your breath can make a world of difference. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and just notice your breath, how it feels as it enters and exits your body. Pay attention to the sensations around you, the feeling of the ground beneath you, the sound of your breath, the slight shift of your body. Don't try to change anything. Just be present with it all, without judgment. Over time, these simple practices become habits that can help you stop living in the past or future, and instead anchor yourself in the now. When you bring yourself back to the present moment, something remarkable happens. The weight of stress begins to lift. You stop worrying about what might happen, and instead you focus on what you can do right now. Think about it like this. Imagine you're holding a heavy bag. If you're constantly thinking about how heavy it is, or wondering how much longer you have to carry it, the burden feels even worse. But if you focus on taking one step at a time, on carrying the bag just for this moment, the weight becomes much more manageable. Living in the now is like taking that step. It's not about ignoring your problems, but about breaking them down into what you can handle right now. And here's the beauty of living in the present. It's the only place where you have true control. When you're focused on the here and now, you're not paralyzed by regrets about the past or anxious about the future. You're present, you're engaged, and you're ready to face whatever comes your way. The Stoics believed that by living in the present, we could find peace amidst chaos. When you live in the moment, stress doesn't have the same power over you. You realize that you can't change what happened yesterday, and you don't know exactly what will happen tomorrow. But right now, at this moment, you have everything you need. You have your breath, your awareness, and your ability to choose how you respond. That's all you need to find calm, no matter how hectic life gets. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by stress, try taking a moment to pause, breathe, and ground yourself in the present. Focus on what you can see, touch, hear, smell, and taste. Practice mindfulness, even if it's just for a few minutes. And remember, you don't have to be anywhere else but here. Now you have everything you need to find peace. Next, the power of thoughtful response. Have you ever had one of those moments where your stress level spikes in an instant? Maybe it's an email that hits you like a ton of bricks, or someone makes a careless comment that feels like a personal jab. Before you even have time to think, you've already reacted, maybe snapped back, or let frustration take over. It happens to all of us. But here's the thing. Stress doesn't just come from the situation itself, it comes from how we respond to it. And the Stoics, some of the wisest thinkers in history, had a simple yet powerful way to deal with this. They said, pause before reacting. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, put it this way: you have power over your mind, not outside events. This is key. You can't control what other people say, what's happening in the world, a threat, or the constant flow of things that seem to trigger stress. But you can control how you respond. And the way to do that is by creating a small but powerful pause before any knee-jerk reaction. Think about your mind like a glass of muddy water. When you're stressed or upset, it's as if the water is full of swirling chaos. Everything is cloudy, and it's hard to think clearly. But the moment you pause, even for just a few seconds, the sediment in the water has time to settle. The water becomes clear again, and you can see things with fresh eyes. That's the power of pausing before reacting. So how do we do this? It's simple. Take a moment to pause. When you feel that surge of frustration, before you let it lead to an impulsive reaction, try this. Practice the 3-breath method. Inhale for a count of 4. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale slowly for a count of 6. Repeat this 3 times. It's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system. The slow, intentional breathing helps calm the mind and body, giving you the space to choose how to respond. Instead of reacting out of stress or frustration, you'll find yourself reacting with clarity and thoughtfulness. This pause doesn't just calm your body, it also gives you time to reflect. You might ask yourself, is this really worth reacting to? What's the best way to handle this? In that brief moment, you'll realize that many of the things we stress over aren't worth the emotional energy we put into them. Sometimes, just by pausing, we realize the situation isn't as urgent or as dramatic as it seemed in the heat of the moment. Over time, you'll notice something powerful. Your reactions will become more intentional. You'll stop being ruled by your immediate emotional response. Instead, you'll begin to handle stress with a calm and thoughtful approach. This shift can make a world of difference in your daily life, whether it's in work situations, relationships, or just the usual everyday challenges. It's not about ignoring or suppressing your feelings. It's about giving yourself the space to process them before acting on them. And in doing so, you regain control. No longer are you at the mercy of your emotions. You've stepped into a place where you can choose your response, and that is true power. The great thing is that this practice doesn't have to be reserved for big, stressful moments. The more you practice pausing in small situations, like when someone cuts you off in traffic or when an email rubs you the wrong way, the more natural it becomes. The more you make it a habit, the more you'll notice how it spills over into bigger situations. One of the beautiful things about this Stoic practice is that it doesn't require any special training or tools. It's something you can do anywhere, anytime. It's a tool that's always available to you, and it only takes a few seconds to shift the course of your day. As you start to practice this more regularly, you'll also notice that stressful situations no longer have the same power over you. You might even begin to feel grateful for the pressure because it gives you an opportunity to practice your ability to stay calm. The more you pause, the more you build that muscle of emotional control. This is a skill that gets better with time. But even after just a few days of using the pause technique, you'll likely feel more grounded, more in control, and far less reactive to the stressors that once seemed overwhelming. So, next time you feel that rush of frustration or stress, remember, you don't have to react right away. You don't have to let the storm of emotions take over. Simply pause, breathe, and let the sediment settle. You'll be amazed at how much clearer things look once you've given yourself that space. It's not about ignoring stress or pretending everything's fine. It's about creating a moment of stillness, a breath of clarity, so you can respond in a way that serves you calm, collected, and in control. Over time, this simple pause will make you stronger, more resilient, and more able to handle whatever life throws your way. Start today. Pause, breathe, respond, and watch how it transforms your relationship with stress. If you are too busy to watch the whole video, click the like button so you can find the video again. Let's learn about the next technique. Use negative visualization. Stress often arises from fear, the fear of what might go wrong, the fear of failure, or the fear of losing something we care about. It's natural to worry about the unknown, to feel anxious about the what-ifs that lie ahead. But what if I told you that there's a way to face these fears head-on, to actually use them to your advantage? The Stoics had a practice for this called negative visualization. Negative visualization might sound a little strange at first, but it's a powerful and practical tool to help you manage stress and anxiety. The basic idea is to imagine the worst-case scenario, not to dwell in negativity, but to mentally prepare for it. Instead of avoiding your fears or pretending they don't exist, you bring them into the light. You visualize them in vivid detail. This practice allows you to confront the fears you're avoiding and, in turn, reduce their hold over you. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, put it simply, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." In other words, if you can mentally prepare for something unpleasant or difficult, it no longer has the same power to shock or overwhelm you when it happens. You've already done the hard part, prepared yourself for it. The anxiety and fear lose their grip because you've seen the worst, and now you're ready to handle it. So how do you actually practice negative visualization? It doesn't take much time or special skills, and it can be done anywhere. The key is to take a few quiet minutes, ideally in the morning, to imagine some of the challenges or fears that might come your way. Picture them in as much detail as possible. What if you lose your job? What if your presentation at work goes horribly wrong? What if you face a personal loss? Instead of brushing these fears aside, you sit with them. You feel the discomfort, but you do so with the knowledge that you are mentally preparing yourself to handle them. Then, here's the important part. After imagining the worst, rehearse your response. Visualize yourself facing the situation with calmness and grace. How do you handle it? How do you move forward? The idea is to mentally equip yourself with the resources to stay grounded, no matter what happens. This exercise isn't about expecting disaster, but about building mental resilience. By thinking through how you would react, you strengthen your ability to face whatever comes with a clear and composed mind. Negative visualization also has an incredible side benefit. It enhances gratitude. When you mentally prepare for the worst-case scenario, you suddenly find that your present situation feels much more manageable. You may realize that right now, you are actually in a good place. You have what you need, and the worries you were carrying around might not be as dire as you thought. It puts your problems into perspective, showing you that in the grand scheme of things could be worse. This makes you appreciate what you already have and fosters a sense of contentment. The key takeaway from negative visualization is that stress often arises from uncertainty, the fear of what might happen. When you face that fear directly, it loses much of its power. Instead of walking through life avoiding your fears, you begin to see them for what they are. Just possibilities, nothing more. You can't predict every outcome, but by preparing yourself mentally for the worst, you make yourself stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. The next time you feel stress creeping in due to an unknown future or a challenging situation, try this simple practice. Take a deep breath, and for just a few minutes, imagine the worst. But don't stop there. Rehearse how you would handle it. Visualize your calm response. See yourself navigating through the storm with clarity. And as you do, remind yourself that you've already built the inner strength to handle it. By mentally preparing yourself for the worst, you're taking the first step toward embracing the challenges that life brings. Stress no longer becomes something to fear, but something you are prepared to face with courage and confidence. Remember, it's not about dwelling in negativity or expecting bad things to happen. It's about mentally preparing yourself so that you can face the unknown without anxiety, no matter what it may bring. When you practice this often, you'll notice that your stress starts to feel more manageable, and you'll develop a deep sense of peace that comes from knowing you are ready for anything. Now, let's learn about the technique. Practice voluntary discomfort. The path to mental toughness. Let's be honest, modern life is all about comfort. Fast food delivered to your doorstep, perfectly heated or air-conditioned homes, endless entertainment just a click away. Everything is designed to keep us comfortable and make life easier. And while that sounds great, there's a hidden downside. The more comfortable we become, the less we're able to handle even the smallest discomfort. Stress feels overwhelming, challenges seem insurmountable, and we start to crumble when life throws us even the smallest curveball. But here's where Stoicism offers a game-changing perspective. Voluntarily embrace discomfort. Yes, you heard that right on purpose. Step into situations that are a little uncomfortable. It's not about being extreme or punishing yourself. It's about building resilience. The Stoics believed that by facing small challenges regularly, we train ourselves to handle bigger ones when they come. Seneca, one of the most practical Stoic thinkers, recommended deliberately practicing discomfort. He suggested things like fasting, wearing simpler clothes, or living for a short period without luxuries. Why? Because when you expose yourself to discomfort in a controlled way, you begin to realize something important. It's not as bad as you think. And that realization builds mental toughness. Imagine stress as a storm. If you've never experienced bad weather, the first storm might leave you panicked, unprepared, and soaking wet. But if you've practiced braving the rain by walking outside in rough conditions or camping in the wilderness, you learn how to stay calm. You know how to navigate it. Voluntary discomfort is the mental equivalent of practicing for the storm. So how do you do this in a modern world full of comfort? It doesn't have to be extreme. Start small. Skip a meal to practice fasting. Not only does this teach you that hunger isn't as unbearable as it feels, but it also gives you a greater appreciation for the food you do have. Take a cold shower. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's also incredibly effective. That moment of stepping into the cold water forces you to stay calm under physical stress. Over time, it trains your mind to respond to challenges without panicking. Spend a day without your phone or social media. Disconnecting from constant stimulation might feel strange at first, but it helps you build the mental strength to sit with stillness and focus on what truly matters. Try physical challenges. Whether it's hiking, running, or trying a difficult yoga pose, pushing your body beyond its comfort zone teaches your mind how to handle discomfort with grace. The goal here isn't to suffer, it's to prepare yourself. Life is unpredictable, and real stress will inevitably come. When you've practiced voluntary discomfort, you'll face those moments with a sense of calm confidence. You've already trained your mind to navigate the hard stuff. Here's another benefit. Practicing voluntary discomfort makes you more grateful. When you skip a meal and feel real hunger, the next meal feels like a gift. When you take a cold shower, a warm one feels like a luxury. This practice shifts your perspective, helping you see the blessings in things you might otherwise take for granted. After each act of voluntary discomfort, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what did I learn about myself? Did I survive this discomfort? How has this prepared me for future challenges? You'll find that each small challenge leaves you stronger, more grounded, and better equipped to handle life's stresses. Seneca once said, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" What he's getting at is simple. When you confront discomfort head-on, you realize that your fears are often exaggerated. The things you thought were unbearable become manageable, even easy. And this realization makes you unshakable. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by stress or dreading a challenge, remember this practice. You faced discomfort before on purpose. You've walked into it and come out stronger. Let that knowledge guide you. Life's storms will come, but you'll know exactly how to stay calm and steady in their midst. Start small. Start today. And watch how these tiny moments of discomfort transform your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. Now let's talk about stress. I know, stress is one of those things we all try to avoid, right? It's uncomfortable, it's overwhelming, and it often feels like it's just too much to handle. What if I told you that stress doesn't have to be your enemy? In fact, with the right mindset, stress can actually become your greatest teacher. I know when you're in the middle of a stressful situation, it's hard to see it as anything but a burden. You feel overwhelmed, stretched thin, like you're just trying to keep your head above water. But here's something the Stoics remind us of. Stress, just like any obstacle, is not necessarily something to avoid. It's something that, with the right perspective, can actually make you stronger. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a former Roman emperor, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Think about that for a second. The challenges you face, the stress you feel, they're not just barriers to your progress. They're part of the process. They can actually help you grow and move forward. Let's use an analogy. Think of stress as a weight you're lifting at the gym. The first time you pick up a heavy dumbbell, it feels impossible. Your muscles burn, your body aches, and you start questioning whether you can keep going. It's hard, but here's the thing, over time, as you continue lifting, your muscles adapt. They get stronger, they grow. The more you challenge them, the more capable they become. It's the same with your mind and emotions. When you face stress and lean into it, rather than resisting or avoiding it, you're training your mental muscles. Each stressful moment becomes an opportunity to build resilience, sharpen your problem-solving skills, and strengthen your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Next time you're feeling stressed, ask yourself, what is this stress trying to teach me? Instead of thinking of stress as something bad or overwhelming, flip the script. See it as a chance to grow. Maybe your stress at work is teaching you how to better manage your time, prioritize tasks, or set clear boundaries. Perhaps the tension in a conversation with a friend is helping you develop patience, active listening, or clearer communication. Every stressful situation has something to offer. It's like a mirror that reflects areas where you can improve and expand your own capacity. When you approach stress this way, you begin to change your relationship with it. You stop seeing it as something that's out to get you, and instead, you see it as a tool, something that's shaping you into a stronger, more capable version of yourself. It's like hiking up a mountain. At first, the incline feels steep, and every step feels harder than the last. But with each step you take, you're building the strength to continue climbing. You're also gaining perspective. The higher you go, the more you can see. That stress, that climb, is what's leading you to greater clarity, wisdom, and self-awareness. So the next time stress shows up, don't push it away. Lean into it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? When you do that, you'll stop feeling overwhelmed. You'll begin to see stress not as something to avoid, but as a powerful force that's helping you grow. With this shift in perspective, stress becomes less of a burden and more of an ally. Instead of feeling defeated by it, you start to feel empowered. Over time, this mindset shift becomes a habit. You'll find that you can handle pressure with more ease and confidence. Stress no longer has the power to overwhelm you because you've reframed it. You've turned it from something negative into something that fuels your growth and resilience. It's important to remember that stress isn't inherently bad. It's all about how you respond to it. And with the Stoic mindset, you can turn every stressful situation into an opportunity to become better, stronger, and more capable. So embrace stress as the teacher it can be. Let it shape you, guide you, and help you reach new heights. And finale, focus on what you can control. Stress often sneaks into our lives when we get caught up in worrying about things we can't control. We find ourselves stressing over how others will react to us, what might happen tomorrow, or what's going on in the world. But here's the harsh truth. Most of these things are beyond our control, and yet we waste so much energy on them. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, taught us a simple but powerful lesson. Focus only on what you can control. He put it perfectly when he said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." Think about that for a second. There's so much in life that's out of our hands. We can't control what other people think of us. We can't control the weather, or the economy, or the traffic on our way to work. But here's the good news. There's a lot we can control. Our thoughts, our actions, and the choices we make every single day. That's where we have real power. And when you focus your energy on these things, stress doesn't have the same hold on you. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're stuck in the middle of a storm. The rain is pouring down, the wind is howling, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. You can't control the weather, but you can choose to carry an umbrella. The umbrella doesn't stop the rain, but it gives you a way to respond to it. It's the same with stress. Life throws a lot at us that we can't change, but we can choose how we respond. And that's where your power lies. Think about it this way. Every time stress starts to creep in, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I control here? Is it your reaction? Is it your mindset? Is it your attitude? Maybe it's about focusing on your goals and what you can do right now, instead of getting lost in what's beyond your control. When you bring your focus back to what's within your power, you start to feel lighter. You regain that sense of control over your life. Here's a simple exercise that can help with this. Make 2 lists, one for the things that are in your control, and another for the things that are outside of your control. On the list of things in your control, you'll write down things like your attitude, your effort, your priorities, and your actions. These are things you can decide. Now, on the other list, you'll write down the things that are completely outside of your control, other people's reactions, the weather, the past, or the future. All these are things that you can't change, no matter how much you worry about them. The next time you start feeling stressed, take a moment to look at your lists. Ask yourself, am I wasting my energy on something that's out of my hands? If the answer is yes, remind yourself that you're only human. You can't control everything. Redirect your focus to what you can control. Maybe it's your mindset. Maybe it's your actions. But whatever it is, shift your energy into something productive, something that empowers you. And here's a powerful mantra that can help when you're feeling overwhelmed. I release what I cannot control. Say it to yourself whenever you start spiraling into stress. It's like a mental reset button. It helps you release all those worries that don't serve you, so you can focus on what truly matters. Remember, the more you practice focusing on what's in your control, the more natural it will become. You'll stop getting bogged down by external things you can't change, and instead, you'll start feeling more grounded, more in charge of your own life. And the best part? Stress won't feel as overwhelming anymore. You'll be able to face challenges with a calm, clear mind. So the next time life feels chaotic, ask yourself, what's in my control right now? Focus on that. Release what's not. You'll find that the power to stay calm, no matter what's happening, is already within you. So, there you have it, 6 powerful Stoic techniques to help you relieve stress and find calm, no matter what's going on around you. These timeless practices aren't just ancient wisdom, they're practical tools that can make a real difference in your life today. Remember, stress isn't your enemy. The real challenge is how you choose to respond to it. Whether it's focusing on what you can control, reframing stress as an opportunity to grow, or practicing mindfulness in the present moment. Each of these Stoic techniques helps you regain control over your thoughts and emotions. And when you do that, stress starts to lose its power. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, try one of these techniques right away. Maybe start with pausing before you react, or practice negative visualization to prepare for challenges. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just take a moment, breathe, and remind yourself that you have the tools to handle whatever comes your way. I really hope you found these tips useful. Which one stood out to you the most? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're ready for more Stoic wisdom and simple, actionable advice to live a calm, focused life, remember, life's challenges are inevitable, but with the right mindset, you can always stay centered. If this resonates with you, please like and subscribe to Daily Stoic Practice and share your insights in the comments. Your thoughts may inspire others on their own journeys to inner peace and resilience. Don't miss our daily videos, insightful discussions, and practical tips for applying Stoic principles to your modern life.